Yeah, I mean, Doc, I know we touched on it at the very start, so let's get into it, and then we'll get Mark's opinion as well in a minute. But the Ruud van Nistelrooy chat, I'm convinced it's because we've won a game, and people are just like, well, we can, we're all good. He should stay. He's a good manager.
I think maybe we are just starting to be a bit more fair in him, right? We have been very harsh, and I think
fair.
Let me finish this, Lux. I think the fact is he's quite clearly not done a good job. He's fallen out with some players, especially some of the higher earners and supposed to be leaders. And I think personally, he's been speaking a bit too much waffle that, sounds really good. All this PR talk that if he just backed that up, I would like him 10 times more. He's talking so much about the youth, but doesn't have the balls to start Jeremy Monk in a game like last week. Like all of those things. But at the same time, the board has mistreated him. I mean, he's coming in, first of all, with the squad that just isn't good enough, with the promise of getting, recruitments in January. He gets a backup right back for 3 million quid from Parma. And now I feel kind of bad for the fact that he's quite clearly looking for certainty over his job. And he knows just as much as we do about what's happening next season. So I think, some of this is definitely on him. He's not gotten the best start of the squad. But as I said before the game started last week as well, before we even start the stream, some of the fundamental ideas about the football he wants to play, I do genuinely like. So I think he just hasn't been able to fulfill it. I think some of that is down to him not being a good enough manager for the Premier League yet. And the rest is the board not trying to set him up for success as well, if that makes sense.
Mark, you talk to me, mate, about, because for me, the question should be, because the squad's crap, as we know. He's been dealt a bad hand by the board. We know all of this. So the question I think should be, has he got the best out of the shit squad?
Yeah, that's what I was
and
just
for me, it's absolutely clear-cut no, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see it from both sides, right? I hear what Duck's saying. Has he been given a fair hand? He talks about him and the board on the early discussions they had. They were apparently aligned, right, with what was needed. Clear as day, January came and went. They weren't aligned clearly at that point because he knew what he was saying. We needed additions. That didn't come to fruition, right? And then, but then I look at the fact that I don't remember how many defeats it was, but it was, what was it, 16, 17 defeats in so many games. In what world in recent years would any manager's position be? It's just untenable at that position.
Yeah,
at that point,
I agree.
Right?
Principally,
In any normal circumstance, he would be long gone. So, and that's the thing. We just don't know why he isn't. Is it because of PSR? Is it because we can't afford to sack him? Does he have something in his contract?
It's got to be PSR. It's got to be PSR.
Right? Yeah. So
I want to know this, from you, Mark, I think, in terms of, because so many comparisons are about, between Cooper and Ruud. And in which manager did you prefer in terms of who did you think got the squad to look the best and got the most out of them if we're taking away just the points, Telly? I'm very interested in knowing that.
There's a loaded question. You have to say Cooper, I guess, because at least he was getting his, you still looked at his team and thought, okay, what is the plan here? What are we trying to do? But we had some more attacking threat, I felt. We scored goals. But so that was the point I was going to make. You've got to question Ruud. It's not like he's had 10 games to try and get the best, know his best 11. Granted, do we have a best 11? But you know what I'm saying. With the form some of the players have shown. I don't know. I don't want to sit on the fence, but it's what do you? It's
what I will say, Doc. What I will say is if a manager who was sacked after 12 games makes you look shit. So what I'm trying to say is Ruud made Cooper look great. Ruud now, I
don't think he did, though. I heavily disagree with that statement.
But look at the points.
Okay, go back and compare the two Southampton games we played against Southampton. Which one did we play the best? This one. Did both teams have different managers? For sure. If I look back and say, which game was I most impressed with the football we played this season? Well, it has to be the Man City at home game. I thought we played well that game and should have walked away with a victory. Was that under Ruud or under Cooper? It was under Ruud. No, undoubtedly, Cooper got more points. That's the facts. Did I feel like those points were earned or lucky? Did I breathe a sigh of relief when we scored a 96-minute winner or a 94th-minute equalizer against Ipswich and Southampton? Absolutely. Cooper was more fun to watch going forward as we were more open, but it was like we were picked apart by Southampton in that first half when we were down 2-0. I'm not sitting here defending Ruud saying I think we should stick with him, because I don't necessarily think that. For me, though, it comes more to the fact that let's look at the options we have available to us. And there are some universes in which I would prefer sticking with Ruud rather than getting the potential new manager. And I think there are definitely better managers out there that I hope we can get. But, give me a real candidate choice against Ruud, and then I can make my opinion up on if I want to stick with Ruud or if I want to go with the other choice we have.
Mark, for me, the numbers, take out the game just gone, of course, because we know we played really well, right? But, we scored more goals per game under Cooper. I think the XG was higher under Cooper. We never got battered 4-0 under Cooper, and we got battered 4-0 3 times, I think, under Ruud, and 3-0 about 4 times. And so I don't know, Mark, talk to me. Like, I know you said that you can see both sides of it, but I personally, I'm convinced this is reactionary.
It's hard, right? Because I know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? I mean, at the time, I was one of the probably 99.9%. Everyone wanted Cooper out, right? Of course, grass is always greener, right? And don't get me wrong, I don't think we would have stayed up even if we had Cooper.
For sure,
no chance. But I think with Van Nistelrooy,
we'd have been closer, though, right? We'd have been closer.
Maybe, yeah. We would have. I think we would have scraped more points, the odd draw, and which again, looking at the table now, wouldn't have made a difference, I don't think. But I don't know. I just think the owners perhaps think, if there's a financial implication, which there's obviously going to be if they sack him, they're perhaps thinking and looking at the standard of the Championship, thinking, look, we can get another season out of him. He's certainly going to get us challenging, because I think whoever we have as manager next year with what we're going to have in the squad, it'd be a disaster if they didn't, and that's not me being blasé. I think, if we didn't challenge for the top 6 with what we're going to have, I think any manager worth a salt should be able to have us up there next season.
Yeah. I mean, look at the big managers right now in the Championship, right? Daniel Farke and Scott Parker getting their side promoted with 100 points. So any somewhat capable manager should, with what we likely will have, at the very least, challenge for top 3 automatic, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Punt thinking we'll stick with him, and I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I'm excited to hear about the realistic candidates. I think someone like Danny Rowe from Wednesday would excite me. I've been talking a bit about Cifuentes as well, but I want to see the realistic options, right? Like, where do the links really get serious? And then I think people will be able to make up their minds.